guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is my July TBR video. It's going up like a week late. We're already like a week into July. It's fine. That's totally fine. So as far as TBR videos go, normally I tend to have Napoleon, my goat, pick all of my books out for my TBR. And I know you guys have been sorely missing those videos, but summer for some reason has turned into like readathon central. Like there's readathons aplenty in all of the summer months apparently. So those I kind of focus more on strict reading. So Napoleon will make a comeback at some point. I might just kind of like put him in another bookish type video later on this month just so you guys can get your goat fix. But this video is going to be somewhat structured. So the books that I have pulled for the month of July are somewhat structured into like a reason. Like there's a reason for all of these books to be read this month basically. But this video is book club books that I am hosting / reading along with my Medievalathon TBR, which is already happening. It's an amazing like fantasy based readathon that my dear friend Holly from Holly Hearts Books is hosting. And this is also arcs that are coming out in August. I'm trying to read at least all of the arcs that are coming out in the month prior, like all of the ones that I picked up at ALA. We're working on getting through those. So that's what this video is going to be. I am going to be doing a separate TBR video for the Reading Rush, formerly known as the BookTubeathon, which is happening at the end of July. So factor in more books for this TBR, but I'm gonna do just like a separate video for those so that this one is not ridiculously long. So speaking of which, let's just jump into this. So the first book that I'm getting to this month, as far as like structured reading events and things that I'm participating in, is Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. This is the Dragons and Tea book club book for the month of July, and this will be starting tomorrow, July 8th. I should probably get this video up. You're right, I should do this. This is a new release contemporary about diverse issues. It's gonna be cute. I'm really excited to read along with them this month. So I will be picking this up tomorrow. The next book that I'm going to be getting to, I'm kind of reading like multiple times this month, and I'll explain why. And that is Roar by Cora Carmack. This is a reread for me. I read this back when it came out in 2017. This is my book club book of the month. I'm going to be reading this with my book club, which I will leave linked down below in case you guys would like to join along. We usually read about the third week of every month. So we'll be starting this one on July 15th. But I'm also part of the street team for Rage, the sequel to this. And there's like a month-long group read-along of this book. So I'm kind of like starting it already, but I'm gonna like really focus on it for my book club week. It's a whole thing. This also is going to be worked into my Medievalathon requirements. So let's just jump into that TBR and I'll go on from there. Basically, Medievalathon is a month-long readathon. It's running for the entire month of July and it's being hosted by Holly from Holly Hearts Books, and the entire like format of this readathon is basically to get you to read fantasy, and she formatted it in a way so that you are kind of equipping yourself. And it makes my little gamer heart so happy because you're literally going through and like picking your armor and your weapons for your character in the readathon, and I'm like, this is brilliant. So, Roar is fitting my very first thing. There's a whole bunch of different requirements and you don't have to meet all of the challenges or anything. It's basically what you want to choose to equip yourself with. But when I see reading challenges, I need to fit a book to every challenge because I'm an overachiever. So this book actually fits the very first thing on the list, which is your crown, if you want to be royalty. And that is a book featuring someone who is fighting for the crown. This one, if I remember correctly, is that, right? I believe so. So this is meeting that requirement / another one, but I'll get into that later. Okay, the second challenge / requirement is to equip yourself with a helmet, and that prompt is to read a book with a dragon on the cover, and I am going for a stretch. I mean, this applies, it totally applies, but I don't think it's what she intended with this prompt, because most fantasy books are like dark and ominous and dragon fighting and things happening and fantasy worlds. I'm going with the Tea Dragon Festival. Because I want to, because I mean, there's dragons on this, there's dragons all over. Is this really the intention of the prompt? No, but it's working for me. One, because I want to read this, because it's an arc that's coming out, so it'll check off that part of my endless arc list to read, and it applies to the challenges. And it's a graphic novel, so it'll make me feel like I'm accomplishing things because I can read this in one sitting. It'll be fine. So far, I've got my crown, I've got my helmet. Let's move on to the chestplate. The chestplate of your armor is to read a shiny book, and for that I'm going like all out. I am going to read Sherwood by Megan Spooner because this book is like shiny aplenty. This whole book is just like foiled, the whole thing. This is also one of my most like anticipated books of the year, and I just haven't picked it up because I think I'm nervous to read it because I adored Hunted so much. This is like a gender-bent Robin Hood retelling, and I'm very excited for it. So I think this is gonna meet the challenge. So we are equipped from like the chest up. We are just naked from legs down. It's fine. We'll fix that. It'll be okay. For pants or leggings or whatever you call medieval armor leg covering things, pants. I'm going with pants because I don't want to be pantsless in this situation. Requirement is to read a really thick paperback, and I have many. I have a lot of mass market fantasy books, but this one I'm counting as a thick paperback because it's large and floppy, and that is Kashiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. This has been sitting on my shelf for so long. Like, this whole series has been sitting on my shelf. Is it that thick? Not really, but in theory, it is. Like, it's a big floppy paperback, and in theory, if this was printed in mass market, it would be pretty chunky, because it's pretty chunky already as like a tall floppy paperback, so I'm counting it. It works for me. And I've been wanting to get to this forever. And I think I have an audiobook of it, so it's fine. Now, as far as shoes go, I think I'm going barefoot because I don't have a book picked out for this, and the requirement for that is to read a book that has yellowed over time. I do have plenty on my shelf that are like older, well-loved fantasy books that have definitely yellowed just from sitting on my shelf for too long, but I haven't like picked a solid choice, mainly because I'm reading a lot of dense fantasy for this challenge, and I've been on like contemporary romance kick, so I don't know how much my brain is gonna handle switching gears like that. So I'm just gonna leave a couple challenges open-ended. So for now, I'm just gonna run onto the battlefield barefoot. It's fine. I'll just be like a hobbit. I'm short already. It counts. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. Now for the last item that can go into your attire, it's kind of like a bonus thing. You can add on a cape. And I was like, I need a cape in my life. And that is to read a book with red on the dust jacket. And for that, I'm going to pick up Godblind by Anna Stevens because this has been sitting on my shelf for way too long. I know this is a really dark fantasy, war-torn story. And I mean, it's red. Look at it. It looks so cool. So I've been wanting to read this forever. It's been recommended to me a lot because people know that like my dark little soul craves some serious violence in my fantasy. So I'm hoping that this will deliver. If any of you have read this book, let me know, because I feel like I'm in for an experience. Now, as far as the weapons go, I only have 2 books picked out for this, and this one I'm still leaving somewhat open-ended. In order to get, I believe, a sword, you have to have something pointy on the cover. And for that, I can probably count Roar, because she does have daggers on that, on the cover. I also need to get to my copy of Rage, the sequel to Roar, and she has the same daggers on the cover. So this one I'm gonna count, because I probably want to read those books back to back, so I might as well count them both for something. So there we go. I'm gonna have me some pointy items. Now for, I believe the other 2 options were daggers or bow and arrows. It was to have a book with assassins in it or elves. Those, I don't know. I might get to something. They might be in some of these books and I don't know yet. But I'm leaving those open-ended. So I'm gonna be barefoot and I will not have a dagger or a bow and arrow. So I'm gonna be like a melee person. I'm gonna do a lot of hand-to-hand combat and it's fine, as long as they don't hit my toes. But the last option is to get a battle axe, so I can just be like Gimli. I can just steal Gimli's battle axe and be a hobbit with an axe that's probably way too heavy for me to carry, and I'm taking this analogy way too far, but you need a book with mercenaries in it. And I'm actually stealing Holly's idea from this because I have no idea what's in all of these fantasy things. So like I said, there could be all of these characters in these fantasy books and I just haven't researched enough. But I'm going to pick up The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Ticholke because I've heard there are mercenaries in this, and that sounds great. I'm pretty sure, look, there's like a battle axe wielding person right there. It's very fitting for the prompt. Also, this book is short and it's YA, so I'm hoping it'll be easier to breeze through than a lot of these. So that's the hope. We'll see how it goes. So that is my Medievalathon TBR, and like I said, that runs for the entire month of July, so I think I'll be able to get to those considering that I have like easier things to read for the rest of the month. So let's get into the couple arcs that I want to get to while in July. There's definitely going to be more of these because I'm going to mood read for the rest of the month beyond this. But the arcs that I definitely want to prioritize in July because they are August releases are The Birthday Girl by Melissa De La Cruz. This is going to obviously switch gears from the fantasy world that I'm going to be living in. So if I need a breather, it'll be fine because this, I believe, is like an adult contemporary fiction thriller type of thing, and again, it's short, it should be easy to get through. I also have The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. Again, adult thriller, probably will be easy to breeze right through, and again, this is coming out in August, and it's Ruth Ware. I read through her books like fairly quickly. They're thrillers, they're fast-paced, it'll be fine. And the last book that I'm so excited to get to, and I've picked this up a lot. I've actually included this in a lot of different TBR videos, and I've just like put it down because I haven't been in the exact mood for it. That is Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. This is K.A. Tucker's newest release, and it comes out at the beginning of August, so I definitely need to get to it in July so that I can tell you guys my thoughts on it prior to releasing. And this is just an adult romance, and I'm just so excited to pick it up and experience more K.A. Tucker because I fell in love with The Simple Wild last year. I've been reading through all of her backlist books all year long, and I'm just very excited to have a new title from her, so this will happen at some point. When I need a breather from all of the like dark fantasy, this is what I'm gonna turn to. So that is my TBR for July. Like I said, I will be uploading a separate TBR video for the reading rush when that comes around, so I will have like 5 or 6 more books to add to this. And then beyond this, I'm gonna mood read, because your girl reads a lot of books every single month, so this is not gonna be all of the things, but it's the things that I want to get to for like purposes and reasons. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you're planning on getting to in the month of July, because my TBR is all over the place. Like, I'm covering a lot of different genres in this, so it's gonna be interesting. So as always, I will see you guys in my next video.